Sammy G and Proud and Powerful, and we're kind of thinking, man, this storyline isn't really effective. We want to see those guys separate and flourishing,
Yeah.
but Inner Circle versus Dan Lambert and his guys not really doing a ton. But other than that, we love and we never miss an episode of AEW. That being said, I think you and I are in agreement that Roman Reigns, the head of the table, is not only possibly our favorite, but really the best character, the best performer in wrestling. When that dude enters the ring, whether it be a promo or for a match, there's just a different feeling you get. It's a proverbial big fight feel, if you will. That guy does not. He just puts on clinics with whoever he is in the ring with, and what he's doing right now, I think, is incredibly special. And I think WWE really needs to ride with him as their main figure right now. Certainly, they need to invest more time in the women's division and figure all of that out. But what they have in Roman, I think, really supersedes anything we're seeing in AEW. Hangman is ascending, but if you're giving me that draft pick of one person, particularly one dude between all of the companies, I think I'm still rolling with Roman, man.
No, I agree with you. Roman Reigns is, like he said in the Variety interview, on another level,
Yeah.
and I I have a hard time disagreeing with his comments. I really do. With most of them, with some of them, I don't know. The CM Punk return stuff, I don't know. That felt that didn't feel like somebody that's saying it about a guy. That felt like somebody saying it in character. It kind
Yeah,
of felt like the entire interview was him maintaining character,
absolutely.
and I don't really see any way around that. Not looking at AEW as competition, I believe them when they say that. I also don't believe them when they say that at the same time because I know they're competing with everything else, and that's the tagline because they're a publicly traded company.
Mm-hmm.
They have all their rights and sponsorships with Fox. Navigating Fox and USA and Peacock, you have three separate entities that are all separate companies that are competing for time, and then having to have Fox, or I guess just Fox, do time to advertise for pay-per-views that aren't on their network. It's not on Tubi, it's not on Fox Now, it's on Peacock, is incredibly complicated. So with Fox having NFL and a lot of other baseball, a lot of other sports entities on their programming, and then having also an incredible show on Fridays. I really enjoy SmackDown, but ironically, the thing that I was looking forward to the most on SmackDown, at least this year, was what is Danielson going to do?
Mm-hmm.
Because it seems like he's doing some cool stuff outside of what Roman is doing. Roman's unstoppable right now. He shouldn't. I don't want to see him drop the belt.
No.
I love that people hate his guts. It's perfect.
Yeah.
You can hate him all you want. I got my wreck everyone and leave t-shirt in the wash right now. I love the bloodline Roman
Yeah.
Reigns, the tribal chief,
You
the
bought you
head of
bought
the
that
table.
T-shirt the night he returned at
Yes.
SummerSlam. You
Yes,
did
I
not
did.
wait.
No, I did not. He said he was going to do it, and Paul said, "That's not a prediction. That's a spoiler," and he was right. I love this version of Roman. This is the Roman we should have been getting from the beginning.
Yes.
And they wasted 5 years with him trying to make him something he's not.
Yeah. That's a future
Even though
pod.
yeah, yes. So I love what he's doing. I love that he's just sort of stone faced and serious. Mm-hmm. And you had the Wild Samoans before him, and then him cutting a promo several months back. It could have even been like 6 months or more now at this point. I don't even know. Saying we're not savages, we're family, and we'll beat you up, we'll lay you lying or leave you lying, but we're not going to pretend that we're not better than you and smarter than you, and all of those things. I think he's great. Also, I think it's the only time I've seen Jess be engaged Jess is my wife, for those of you listening, be fully engaged with a show is when Roman comes out shirtless, which is unfortunate for me. Really unfortunate for me.
I thought, I thought you were going there when you brought up Jess. Shout out to Jess. Yeah, I mean, Roman has the Jess approval, man. I really, like you, am hoping that his reign, pun intended, does not come to an end for a long time. Certainly not at this upcoming show in Saudi Arabia, Crown Jewel. I'm really worried that he's going to drop the title to Brock. Just some weird stuff happens over there in Saudi. And I'm just talking from a WWE booking perspective. If we look at the match I will never forget, Goldberg going over the Fiend in Saudi, I just, man, I'm worried. I don't know if I'm ready to make a prediction, but I am not very confident that Roman leaves that show with the Universal Championship.
I've been thinking about it a lot. I don't know what they do. I think the danger now is because he's beaten like everybody, is having him win might be worse than having him lose. Except we are getting the draft roster shift. So maybe that'll make a difference, and maybe that'll freshen up the pool, but who's next in line to challenge him that's not Seth Rollins? Because there's really not a lot of people left that he hasn't run through already that they're not going to just bury.
Yeah.
Because they'll do it. If they're going to have Nakazawa come out of there, or like pull some other rando off AEW to wrestle him.
Right.
Or maybe they have I got nothing, man. Like, I got nothing. The only thing it could possibly be is another one of those things where it ends, he wins, and he says, there's nobody left for me to beat, and then The Rock's music plays.
Yes.
I don't think we're getting that in Saudi Arabia.
I sure hope not.
I agree, and I don't know where they go from here, because he's beaten everybody, which is a problem they have. So I don't know, unless they have a secret signing coming, or maybe they're re-signing Braun, or maybe they're re-signing Bray, and we just don't know about it. I don't know.
I agree with you. I don't think that person exists yet. The person who's going to take the belt off Roman, and even if a feud were to start between Roman and Bray, or Roman and Braun, I think we've seen those feuds already, and some of the matches have been great, some maybe not as great. I think Braun and Roman did some really fantastic stuff back, like you said, when they were booking Roman as a babyface, but they need someone fresh, and I know you and I will be glued to our seats if it ends up being The Rock. Sure. But if it's a Rock match, pretty sure that's a safe bet it's going to be WrestleMania. And we have a long time from now until April. That's a lot of pay-per-views. It's a lot of weekly television. Survivor Series will be, I'm guessing, against the Raw champion, but Royal Rumble, I really hope they don't waste Roman's reign right now on, opponents that are not befitting of what he's doing, because he needs strong baby faces. But I think that's the persistent issue with WWE, is that we don't have a large group of strong baby faces, especially not on Friday nights.
Yeah, and I know with Cena, because he's already taken out Cena. With Cena and The Rock, they had their program was an entire year. They announced it basically right after WrestleMania for the following WrestleMania. So I think they could do that with The Rock if they wanted to. I don't think they will. I don't think they should. But they'd also have to set it up as a match, not for the title, just a match. Who is actually the head of the family should be the match they set up. I think that would be great. But Roman's already beaten Cesaro, Edge, Fiend, Braun, if they brought either of them back. They could have him, if RK Bro breaks up, they could have him go against Randy or Riddle. I also think he'll be killed by them, or they'll be killed by him. Seth is the only one that makes sense.
Yeah.
But then it's a heel. But then it's heel, and it'll be great. But I don't want to see heel. I have a hard time with that because it not in WWE. I don't know if I'll get it. They need somebody that's like gray, like Lance Archer. But I don't know what Lance Archer is. He's not really a babyface.
Yeah.
They need somebody like that. They need Miro. They need somebody that's like, you want to see that dude in the ring, but also he's not a good guy, but you don't really care because Malachi Black will kick your head off. But also it's Malachi freaking Black.
That's right.
I feel bad because I want to see Dante Martin win. I want to see Dante Martin have all the success, but I don't even care. Malachi Black is awesome. And if we're getting a Malachi Black, Cody 3, and after all the stuff they've been doing with Arn, really violent Arn.
Yes.
Sorry. The Glock still makes me chuckle. Like, what were they doing?
Yeah. Where did that come from?
No idea. That's I almost called him Brock. That's his little boy. That Arn is just this cold-blooded killer that will blow your brains out if somebody tries to come up to your car window. I think that match it has the makings of an incredible match. I did think that when they showed the Nightmare Factory stable that he was working with, that a lot of them were heels. I'm hoping we get heel Cody. Heel Cody is a much better Cody than babyface Cody, but I would love heel Cody that thinks he's a babyface.
Right. And I think Cody's really leaning into that from what we've seen. Yep. We just know he is very self-aware. And when he is giving us the visual reaction of he's surprised that he's getting booed, that man knows the fans are going to cheer for Malachi and not him. So I think we have definitely not seen the best of Cody in AEW by any means. I am a big Cody fan. I cannot wait to see Cody as a heel. And, you mentioned a lot of names right now of talents that were in WWE not too long ago. The Miros of the world, the Malachi Blacks, and the fact that they were in WWE not really being utilized at all. They come over to AEW, and they are now two of the most over talents on that roster.
Right.
It's incredible. They're just allowed to be artists and create and paint. The work Miro is doing now that he lost the title is fascinating. That promo he cut, this is kind of going back to what we saw from AEW this weekend. That promo he cut, and then what Malachi is doing with kicking Dante Martin's head off, along with several other heads on the roster. It's so exciting, and frankly, I want to know between those two who may, this is long-term booking here, but assuming Hangman takes the belt off Kenny at Full Gear, I believe it has to be one of those two guys, Miro or Malachi Black, that ends up taking the belt off Hangman. That might be wishful thinking, but you tell me any of those two dudes are a future AEW World Champion, maybe even before the year ends, and I'm buying it. Whereas 6 months ago, they weren't even being used on WWE programming. There was no creative direction for them. How is that possible?
Mm-hmm. Well, I think the other thing too is like WWE is so big, and sometimes I think too big for its own good. Doing a weekly show has got to be unbelievably complicated. You have 400 people on the roster that you're all trying to figure out, how do I get new talent engaged, and how do I make sure everybody has screen time. Yeah, we have 3 hours, but we still have to have a match. And what if that match is going to be a banger? Do we actually pull from that match? Where do we sacrifice time to put people on there? And then what if their gimmick isn't working? And I think that was the thing that I thought with Miro. Because remember when Miro came back as the best man, he kind of sucked. He had that bleach blonde hair.
Yeah.
I didn't know what the hell was going on. He was just throwing people through video games. Like, it didn't make any sense.
Right.
I was like, what are you doing with an arcade game anyway?
Hanging out with Kip Sabian.
I was like, this isn't the 80s. Which, by the way, where the hell is Kip? I know he's injured, but like, just not seeing him at all is really weird. But also, I didn't understand Kip's gimmick. If he had one, I think he was just Kip. Seeing his wife,
Yeah,
a lot.
he was just Penelope's husband.